All right. Happy Monday. It is August 1st. We are on our eighth month into 2022. Absolutely unbelievable how quickly time goes by, especially when you're in crypto and NFTs. Just it's all been a blur, but loving every second of it, whether we've been up or we've been down. It's such an incredible space to be in. It's such an incredible time to be in it. So very excited to be kicking off this Moon Monday number 27. Just wanted to shout out Catfish again. He has been kicking off his Genesis spotlights again after a little bit of a break and a much deserved one as well as he was doing some traveling around and whatnot. But this week is none other than Genesis Wolf number 47, held by our own resident Star Wolves whale, Seed Phrase. And so if you haven't gone and checked out what Catfish does every Monday, he gives a little bit of lore, a little bit of background on one of the Genesis wolves, and it's always great to have Catfish share that with us. You know, just a testament to the incredible community members that we have that just do all these great things. Of course, Gerard did the riddle, the scavenger hunt last week in the Discord. He put that together. It was great fun, and just still, despite we're in the dog days of summer, so much going on. I want to welcome none other than FMC himself back up to the Moon Monday stage. My friend, what's going on?
How are you, buddy? How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing okay. Doing okay. Happy Moon Monday to you.
For sure. And, I'm just going to say we were all thinking about you these last few weeks, and it's such a treat and such a pleasure to hear your voice again.
Thank you, buddy. Really happy to get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, of course. Well, as we used to, or as we normally do on Moon Mondays and whatnot, why don't we just give us a little bit of a breakdown about the markets? Because ETH has done pretty well for itself over the past few weeks. Actually seems to be holding pretty steady too. And even some volume coming back in NFTs, more in the crypto punk area with the Tiffany announcement. But there's some stuff that's looking up outside of Star Wolves as well.
Yeah. There was a very interesting article written by one of my favorite economic commentators earlier today, the Stalwart, who works for Bloomberg, who he likes to be a little sensationalist and tongue in cheek, but he basically laid out how ETH, which is 90% up off its lows, and Bitcoin, which is about 30% up off its lows, Bitcoin seems to have lost its narrative a little bit, with inflation hedge and hard money being kind of what sold Bitcoin for so long. And in the face of very, very high inflation and quote unquote crisis, when you would think hard money or an inflation hedge would be what people gravitate towards, well, Bitcoin is down as it is this year. So he's saying that the narrative for ETH now going forward is the narrative of crypto. He is not saying that ETH is going to work and necessarily be the world's next supercomputer and decentralized finance and all that. That is still to be proven. But he is saying that now that is the central narrative that will bring crypto forward. Now, I do think he's being a little extreme there. And I think that we've talked about before how, as an inflation hedge, those things don't necessarily happen in the short term. It's not that inflation goes up this month, therefore your hedge is going to immediately counteract that. These things happen over time. These hedging effects, or how gold, as an example, has been an inflation hedge. Well, gold is down this year. It has traded just like a risk asset. Yet, if you look over the last couple hundred years, it's about as good of an hedge against inflation as we have. It doesn't go up much, but it pretty much keeps your money where it should be most of the time. So
I actually
that
just really listened to an interesting podcast about that too, and they were kind of breaking down that hedge against inflation actually happens before the inflation kicks in with an increase in the money supply, or even just an increase in the asset inflation, and that we saw Bitcoin kind of front run um, that inflation by, going up dramatically from about 7,000 to about 70,000 over the course of a year. But again, and we talk about this a lot, when risk assets tend to take a hit, so does something like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and cryptocurrency. But even if you just draw a straight line from, the 7,000 to the 23, 24,000 that we're at right now, it has absolutely 100% outpaced inflation. It is just not immune to those downsides of a risk-off environment as well.
People will sell anything that they can sell into cash during these moments, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing people on the hunt for cash, and that's what we've been in. Now, if we just zoom out a little bit and look at macro, we've had incredibly disinflationary pressures over the last couple months. The headlines would have you believe that inflation is getting worse, when in reality, over the last 2 months, we have seen a dramatic disinflationary environment. And I had talked about for a long time how markets aren't going to reverse when everything looks good. It's not like there's going to be an all clear and everyone's going to go, all right, everything's good now, we can all get back into the market. By the time you realize we've come out of the period we're in, the market will be up 20 or 30%. And if you look at the month of July, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ up 9 and 10% respectively. That is the best July that they have had in over a decade. Now, obviously, it's starting from a much lower point. We had the huge haircut early on, but there's a reason the market's rallying right now, and it's not just exhaustion. The main driver of the downside for everything, whether we're talking about crypto or traditional financial markets, has been this high inflation. Those pressures are coming off. Will they continue to come off? How will the Fed react? These are all open questions. And it's not saying that everything's great and everyone should just rush in. But why has the market been so bullish? Why is ETH 90% off its lows? Why? And it's because we have had incredible disinflationary pressure from things like oil, from things like grains. We just saw the first grain barge leave Ukraine today that we have seen in months. That's huge. Corn and wheat down a lot because of that. That's a good thing. Food is going to be cheaper. These things take a little time to work through the system, but you're already seeing it in gas, which is almost down a buck from its highs. So good stuff. Feels kind of bullish right now. You need the trend to continue because the Fed needs more data to slow down. And until the Fed slows down, it's going to be very hard to see new all-time highs in crypto or in the S&P.
Yeah, it's definitely a process that we're not through yet, and things can change in a hurry. But it definitely does feel like there has been a turning point. There has been some kind of not an event, but just a shift, and now we feel like we're starting to move on a little bit. So that's very, very exciting. I don't know. Are you ready to get into the Moon Monday announcements and do a little bit of housekeeping over the last week?
Let's do it, my friend.
All right. Well, first, I want to talk about last Moon Monday, where we announced the PvP going live. And of course, with that, the PvP tournament with a Genesis Wolf going up for grabs. And I got to say, those first 24, 48 hours were just an actually invaluable learning experience for us because, not only do once people start clicking buttons, you find bugs and whatnot, but you also start gathering a lot of data. You see this so much in traditional gaming where these competitive games or these multiplayer games, before they do a major patch or a major release, they actually go through a couple weeks or more of they have a whole separate test client where they make these patches go live and people can kind of check it out, play the game as it will be, not as it is, and they collect a lot of data to look at stuff. And that's one of the things that we were doing over that first little bit. We got to see how many people were playing, how many people were interacting with each other, how the matchmaking was working properly, and if there was a lot of balancing that needed to be done. So of course, as you probably know, if you were in the Discord, we did have to put a little bit of a pause on that tournament, because once you start getting hundreds and hundreds of matches going through, and there was, last time I checked, there were over 500 matches played in a very, very brief period of time. You start to see things, and you start to learn things, and you start to listen to community feedback, like we always do, about what's working for them and what's not working for them. And there were a couple of issues that kind of came up. One was just that, while we always try and make the Genesis kind of the creme de la creme of the Star Wolves ecosystem, there was definitely a feeling of defeat before the match even started, when somebody without a Genesis Wolf would match up with a Genesis Wolf. So we kind of put our nose down and put some pencils to paper and started to work on numbers and how we can shift that dynamic, so that while a Genesis Wolf has an advantage, and that was always part of the conversation, it should be like an overcomable for somebody else with extra effort, a little bit of luck, and maybe some superior gameplay. So we did a lot of balancing and fixes in there. The first one is obviously the lifesteal. The lifesteal so important for the defend function, and it completely changes the game in terms of the RNG and your ability to come back into it by not only making a successful defense and mitigating the damage done to you, but also doing some damage to your opponent and healing at the same time. So defending is now a lot more of a viable strategy than it was when it rolled out. And of course, one of the big things was, you couldn't see when you had stunned somebody from a heavy attack, and that can completely change what your next action would be. So of course, fixing that so that when you stun somebody with your attack, that they're stunned, and you can plan accordingly for the next action. Of course, adding a little bit of strategy and all of that. The other thing is reducing the Genesis Wolf HP and the 1 of 1 HP for it, and rolling out some separate leaderboards, working on some things that will just make people encouraged to play kind of within their own tier and whatnot, while not punishing the Genesis Wolves for having those beautiful wolves. So that was a really great learning experience for us, and I'm happy to say that I think we found really reasonable and quick solutions to all of that. So the tournament will be firing back up there, and you'll be able to get back to work on winning that Genesis Wolf. So very excited for that. Free market
Parity is important, my friend, and achieving that, you see it in professional sports all the time, right? If it's not competitive, it's not fun. And again, we can maintain an advantage for Genesis Wolves while still keeping it competitive. So invaluable data, as R2 said. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And there's, the sports leagues exactly work really hard with things like salary caps and different penalties for, going over salary caps and stuff like that, to be able to make it relatively fair for the teams that don't have the same kind of resources at their disposal to be competitive and whatnot. And we always see games, we always see sports trying to achieve that. And of course, that's of the utmost importance to us. I see a lot of people in the Discord making fun of me for the word overcomable. Look it up in the dictionary. Pretty sure it's a word, but I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know. We'll have to see about that.
All right. Well, we'll get back to you after we consult with Webster. But yeah, maybe I'll take an owl on.
What's the other one that people say all the time?
Penis.
What is it?
Penis?
Well, that's just weird.
I'm not sure which other word you mean.
Well,
but...
I also want to announce here that in our effort to kick up our partnership marketing, we're going to be pivoting our Terrestrial Thursday spaces from upcoming P2E projects to just our partners. And we'll basically our compatible partner projects. And the format isn't going to be completely different. We're still going to talk with them about what got them into NFTs and crypto and, of course, gaming strategy. But we want to educate them on our game and the utility that it brings to our holders. So we have a cool announcement in relation to that R2.
Yeah, of course. As a lot of you turned in, and it was a great Spaces last Terrestrial Thursday, we had, of course, Ice from Satoshi Runners, which is a community a bit in flux right now, but also Dilly and Kyle from the Galactic Apes, and we just had a really really great conversation. I had a whole bunch of questions and talking points that I wanted to get to, and the second that we started talking, it really just kind of flowed and just became this great organic conversation. That, of course, recording is up for you guys to check out if you haven't. But those guys are just incredible, and what they've been doing for the Galactic Apes community with very, very limited resources is incredible too. So, our first kind of announcement with the partnership project, and again, this isn't a collaboration or anything with them. This has kind of always been on our roadmap and part of the game plan, is including Galactic Apes as part of the game. Now, they are going to be our first partner project that you will be able to use within the game. Get in there and play PvP, build out some of your squad with Galactic Apes, and use them to assist you in battle. And they're going to be kind of our canary, right? We're going to be putting our devs to the test, making sure that they can get it integrated properly, which I know that they can, and really just try and get a test and a sense for what kind of load and what kind of pressure it's putting on our back end systems, adding more NFTs into the mix, because now, as Free Market said, using this as a marketing tool as well as a game development tool, we will be working on more rapidly increasing the interoperability of all of these pixel projects that we've listed off in the past, so that if you're holding one of them, you're going to be able to start using them. And we're going to be inviting their community managers, their devs, their founders and whatnot to come check out what we're doing at Star Wolves and really start to do that cross community engagement, and really trying to get the word out to other communities that, hey, you can come in here with your NFTs and potentially have a really great time playing the games that we have. And I think that's what it's all about. Don't you, Free Market?
Yeah, and boy, was that a moment in time there, Gapes. It feels like the old days now, though. I don't even think that was a year ago, was it?
They minted back in September, so I mean we're getting there.
Wow,
Crazily enough, right?
Just about 1 year, but quite the phenomena. I remember people staying up until the odd hours in the morning to get in on that mint. Some people's first experience with Gas Wars, and we are going to be so happy and honored to kind of incorporate them into our game here as they hold their own little special spot in NFT lore and history. I tell people all the time, 2021 is going to be an important year as people look back. And, there may be a supply problem now, but in the future, 2021 projects, they're going to be rare.
Yeah, for sure. It really does feel like a substantial moment in time, not just because it was Galactic Apes, but it was a lot of people's first mint in Gas War. The art was fantastic, and it was at the time one of the few projects that, upon reveal, actually went way, way higher in floor price and whatnot. And that, of course, we've always talked about what happened there and how it was very unfortunate. Some very, very ambitious goals and dreams for their project and whatnot. But I'm really excited to be able to see them as part of my squad and maybe face off against some of them in the PvP arena and more as we begin to add more of those game modes that we've been working on behind the scenes. So I think that just getting other communities in the mix, in the fold, getting into those discords, seeing what's still going on in there, and really just like kind of kicking some tires and seeing what other people are doing and really building those relationships up well is going to be good for all of us. Really, that rising tide lifts all ships. So very, very excited to be doing that, and there's going to be lots to talk to with them. And of course, as you said, the format will be staying relatively the same, with letting them showcase their knowledge knowledge about P2E, the NFT space, crypto, just talk about their core ideals, the fundamentals and all of that. Because really, you can invite anybody up to talk about their project ad nauseum, and they've said it, dozens and dozens of times over, and they know their project inside and out, as they should. But really getting under the hood and finding out what makes these people tick, and why you want to be bullish on them, I think is some of the most important things you can do in this space.
No question.
All right. What other announcements do we have from the Star Signals? Really, really excited to announce that Luca has been working like just an absolute madman to get PVE mode. Of course, that's player versus enemy up and running. So this is going to be an effort to increase the speed, the efficiency, and the enjoyment of the matchmaking system. So we are going to be creating bot lobbies or PVE mode for people to be able to jump in there and play against a bot, of course, using the wolves from the community wallet, and we're going to be randomizing them, so you'll be able to face up against different teams. You can hone your skills, still be able to earn some stuff, and we're going to be testing that to see how it's going to shake out again.
Are you
and what the
saying the
implications
machines
are.
are you saying the machines are becoming sentient, R2?
Yes, they they are. So hopefully this isn't the launch of Skynet as we know it, but
Yeah, really,
Wolfnet,
honestly,
if
be
nothing
careful,
else.
Lucas. I think Elon warned us about this. Just take it easy. Get, middle mode, not the top high mode or whatever. That was
Yeah,
science talk, R2. I know you didn't get it, but that was
I'm
computer
just trying to
science.
keep. I'm just trying to keep up here, man. The computers just dictate my life at this point. So, um, and yeah, the other thing that we've been doing is, of course, updating all of the Genesis wolves into animated GIFs, and Lincoln has been incredibly hard at work using Aspirate to update all of these. Of course, we're going through the list and going through all 100 of them. So really happy to show that Genesis Wolves 59, 96, 23, 35, and 78 are all up and live. You will absolutely recognize some of those in that list. And one of the cool things that he's been doing is actually reaching out to the holders and getting a sense of how they want the wolves to be animated and what kind of vibe they want it to have. And I just think that that's just such an incredible thing for the Genesis holders to be doing, because they look absolutely fantastic. You guys have to go check out Esoterics as well, because he killed it on that, just headbanging at the end of that GIF like nobody else with that mohawk. It looks so sweet.
Dare I say they look legendary. They honestly look beautiful. I cannot wait to see mine done. I expect snow flying around my snow wolf, and boy, these are so cool. Dare I say legendary.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Of course, the Genesis Wolves, when we were making them, were always something we were so incredibly proud about, to share with each other behind the scenes and just get absolutely amped. The Moon Mondays when they were being revealed was just so much fun. And now Lincoln taking them to an absolute next level with the animations. And I got to say, I've been messing around with pixel art animations myself for some other stuff that we've been working on, and it is a trick for sure. It's not simple to make these things look cohesive and work and make sense and even just kind of loop back around so that the GIF can start over seamlessly. So I am just so beyond impressed with what's been going on in that, and yeah, excited to see more of them come out the following Mondays. The other last thing that I want to say is, if you guys are in Sam's Discord, Soup Curator as he's known now, in the Soup NFT kind of alpha giveaway channel that he has going on there, TBD. I'm going to be in there at 9 p.m. this evening, so in about 4.5 hours time, doing some Wolves giveaways and an AMA with them. Who knows how long that will last for, but I am pumped for that, because if you guys haven't been in that community, they are rabid. He put the announcement up this morning about doing an AMA with us, and I mean it is up to a lot of reactions on there, just a lot of excitement within the Discord to get that going. And I'm excited to be giving away wolves like candy. So if you're in the Star Wolves Discord, you should come hang out with us in there. And who knows, if you're not in that TBD Discord, it is closed, but yeah, jump in there. Maybe we'll see if we can find a way to sneak you in so that you can listen to it. But he has just been absolutely crushing it, and the amount of chatter going on in that Discord is just nuts.
All I know is if when you try to get in and you can't, it doesn't say no soup for you. He's really missing an opportunity there because no soup for you.
I'll have to pass that message along, and that would be a great like denial gif or something, right? Where I don't know if you can do that in Discord, but that would be awesome.
Yes, I am referring to the Soup Nazi episode of Seinfeld, and as we know, most projects in modern day want to align themselves with the word Nazi, so I think it'll work out very well.
Perfect. All right, my friend. On that note, is there anything else that you want to add from the Moon Monday announcements, or anything you've been seeing in the markets, or NFTs lately?
Well, I think that's it, my friend. I mean, NFTs, they NFTs continue to do really well on what I call the back end, right? Whether it's Tiffany's or MasterCard or Bill Murray. There is, while the existing NFT collections from last year that got everybody into the game and the reason we have communities and all that stuff, while they may be suffering just from fatigue and just from the run that they had and needing to work off that froth and digest, the idea of blockchain, the idea of NFTs hasn't slowed down at all. In fact, I would argue that it has increased during the bull market as perceived deals and discounts are there. And we're not even talking about like spot. And we're not talking about people who tweet out, we're building. Like, there is an incredible amount of building happening with products you'll probably never hear of that take care of back end things related to blockchain. If you ever needed the confidence that maybe this bear market is terrible in price, but will we be here down the road? Is this the end of? I could confidently say it's not the end of anything. If anything, it was the start of something. So really, really heartened by what I've been seeing, even if NFT volumes and the NFT market we're used to is certainly on ice right now. It really is bustling behind the scenes. In the gold rush, right? It wasn't the people digging in the ground that made money. It was the people that sold them the picks and shovels. So if you watch the pick and shovel business, it's doing pretty damn well. And I think that's really what I'm taking away from the current NFT landscape we're in.
Yeah, I could have said it better myself. Depending on how long you've been in cryptocurrencies and now NFTs, you can't count on two hands how many times crypto's been dead. They'll laugh at you saying, "Oh, I told you it was all a scam, it was all a Ponzi." But hey, if you zoom out, it's been doing a-okay over the past 4 years, over the past 6 years, over the past 10 years. NFTs, while it feels like they're new because it just went through its first real crazy hype cycle, mainstream kind of, I don't want to say adoption, but acknowledgement, where there were a lot of memes, there were, mentions of it in mainstream songs. People now know about it, but it has been around since 2017. They have been around since 2018. They have been, growing, and the technology has been getting better. The use cases have been fleshed out. People are really understanding what the potential are with them. And to say that NFTs are dead is exactly like saying crypto is dead in 2018. It's simply not true. No one's saying we know how long it will take before the quote unquote price or value of them will go up. But I can tell you, things like Tiffany, things like, you know, Nike, these big brands that are still leaning into it, still participating in it, is incredibly exciting, because if they didn't see the potential of it, they wouldn't be doing it. Because as much as we say 30 ETH for a Tiffany NFT is huge, you know, they'll earn 7,500 ETH for this drop. Definitely not a small sum of money, but for these huge companies, not actually that much, not worth the reputational damage that they can go through from participating in something that's really bad. And clearly, they believe it's worth it. Clearly, they believe that this is where things are going. So I want everybody to just stay excited, stay in this space, stay learning, stay networking, stay growing. And, you know, there will be you will be able to come out the other side of it, and you will just be so much better for it. Doesn't not even saying wealthy, like you will have made incredible friends, opportunities, and just knowledge, and it'll be very, very worth it. So on that note, we will wrap up Moon Monday number 27. Free market. Always a pleasure to be up here with you, and we'll talk soon, and we will see everybody in the Discord.
Thank you, my friend. Looking forward to Terrestrial Thursdays. We will see you guys then. Peace out.